everyone, and welcome to Read This Now, the weekly or semi-weekly webcast where Brad Gustafson and I share two books that we love and we think you should read when, Brad?
Right now. That's why we recommend them, because it's necessary that you read them right now.
I can't wait to hear what you've been reading this summer while we've been in a hiatus, my friend.
This was a really difficult selection because, as you can imagine, it was a good summer of reading. I had a chapter book in my hand I was going to talk about, but this other book was speaking to me, partly because it is this month's principal read aloud at our school. And it is a story about a rock who is content with itself. And then it goes to a museum and suddenly starts to notice other rocks that are pretty darn special. And that makes the rock think less of itself just by virtue of comparing. And it's a lovely story. The connection I made as a principal is just, I don't know, in education, I come in and you think you love students and have a few things that you're proficient in. And then you see everyone else like making a difference and you're like, oh my gosh, but then also I thought of our students who clearly have gifts and things they love at home, but imagine coming to a place where hundreds and hundreds of other people are, and might they be feeling like this rock in the book? So here it's called Hidden Gem.
I love this book.
It is beautiful, stunning, stunning, stunning. And I'm going to do the Jenn LaGarde, John Shoe. You ready for this?
Yes.
Here it comes.
Oh, look at that.
That's definitely worth checking out. And as the story progresses, I think the part is it okay to talk about the ending? Spoiler alert.
Yes, go for it.
I'm gonna get to it. Towards the end of the book, the rock is really coveting or jealous of the diamond in the museum, this mega gem that of course is locked up and glowing and the most sparkly, brilliant thing ever. And the rock's not thinking too fondly of itself until finally it's like, wait, what's that I spy? And the rock starts to see in the gem and kind of makes out something else that looks pretty cool, catches its eye, and actually it's its reflection. So the story almost boomerangs back to, while you're busy noticing the strengths and talents and contributions of others, don't forget to think about your worth and the fact that you actually do matter. So that was kind of the meaning I derived from it, but I skipped over just so many beautiful scenes and moments from the story. I do think you should check it out, even if it's not like a school-wide read aloud. It's definitely worthy of a classroom read aloud, or even just you reading at home with your family or on your own. It's beautiful.
It is lovely. This has been such a good year for picture books. And I feel like that is a standout in a plethora, just a wide variety of choices this year. I feel like, every year I'm like, oh, this has been a good year for middle grade, or oh, this has been a good year for YA. But this year I feel like has really been the year of the picture book. There's been some really great picture books this year, and that one's one of them.
Awesome. I can hardly wait, Jen.
Well, as usual, Brad, we are on the same page in a number of ways, because it was very challenging for me to pick a book today for us to talk about, because I've read so many while we've been on our break, and trying to pick one that I thought would not only resonate with our 3.5 viewers, but also maybe tickle your fancy as well, something that Mr. Brad Gustafson might enjoy. So I'll tell you my runners up, okay? Because I have 3 books here. And even until just a few minutes ago, I was deciding which ones I was going to pick. One of my runners up for this week's book talk was the new Stunt Boy book by Jason Reynolds and Raoul III. Some of you all may remember Stunt Boy in the Meantime, which is the first graphic novel about a kid who develops superpowers so that he can help the real superheroes, which are his parents and the adults in his life, survive their challenges. And we have a new one. This is all about how Stunt Boy and his friends survive the fact that his parents have gotten divorced, a tough word for him to say throughout the book. And then the second book that I almost picked was John Klassen's new book, The Skull, which is a really cool chapter book departure for John Klassen. Lots of kids will know John Klassen's picture books. You know, Who Stole My Hat? I Want My Hat Back. All of these books, you know, that he's known for. But this one is based on a folk tale, and it's kind of spooky and different and weird, but honestly, like one of my very favorite books of the year. I love it. But eventually, those are my two runners up. So think about how awesome those are. In order to beat those two books out, I finally landed on one of my very favorite picture books of the year. I don't know if you know it yet, Brad. It's called Stickler Loves the World. Do you know this book yet, Brad?
No, I'm so excited to learn.
I can't wait for you to meet Stickler. Okay. First of all, let me go out and say that I want a whole series of Stickler books. So, to Lane Smith, you've heard it here, where I'm demanding a whole series. This cannot be the end of Stickler's adventures. First of all, and I'll do the John Shoe take the book cover off, or the dust jacket off. In this case, the hard case is exactly the same, but it gives you easy access to these beautiful end pages, which of course are these like birch branches, which I just absolutely love and think are gorgeous. But I think the best way for me to book talk this book, Brad, is to read the first couple pages. Is that okay?
Please, please.
Okay, so it's called Stickler Loves the World by Lane Smith, and it starts with this just beautiful phrasing, and I want you to notice these amazing illustrations when I show them to you. It's many strange creatures lived in the part of the forest where shadow met tree, but the strangest of all was Stickler. We can see Stickler right there. Got these muted, even look at this beautiful illustration on the end there. But then I find that Stickler is really not strange at all. We meet him while he's talking to himself. 3 new sticks, 1 brown, another brown, and another brown one, said Stickler. Why, even Crow will be impressed, and he's seen it all. Sticks. Stickler loved them more than anything, except maybe for everything else. And you can see Stickler is super excited to see his sticks. And we can see all of the forest animals sort of gathering around them. From there, what we learn is that Stickler loves everything. He's so excited about the whole world. The fluffy cloud, the pretty bat, the honey, it goes on and on and on and on. And he keeps picking these things because he's excited to share them with his friend, the crow. But before Crow can show up, this other creature arrives, saying, "Oh, you stranger," says Stickler. "I can see by your cutting-edge space helmet that you are not from Earth." And you can see who this new creature is. Who could it be? And from there, Stickler decides that he's going to show this new creature the whole world through his 8 eyes. And we go through the entire day looking at all the things that you might not notice in the world and how beautiful and wonderful they are. Finally, at the end, though, something crazy happens. We remove the space helmet, and spoiler alert, it's Crow underneath there. And together, Crow and Stickler celebrate the world. And I want to show you this last bit here. "Crow, look, stars for wishing. Let us say our favorite wishes together. Friendship, happiness, world peace, maple syrup." "Zook," said Stickler, almost forgetting his favorite thing of all. Look at that, how gorgeous that is, Brad. And of course, then his favorite thing of all is what? Sticks. And he says thanks for them as well. It's so lovely. It is so, so lovely. The last page, I want to read these last lines to you and then we'll stop. Is the sticks, each one unique, a brown one, another brown one, look, another brown one, and another brown one, wonders. With sticks in hand and wing, the 2 friends walked home quietly. Because, whispered Stickler, no words can truly describe a world so amazing, so weird, and so wonderful. And there they are walking home.
Oh
So
man,
cute. It's
that's
so
so
lovely.
cool. Yeah. I was just thinking as you were sharing, I was gonna ask you, but and then my mind went, I was gonna say, like, Jen, if you did a one word book talk, what word might you associate it with it? And I know that's really
Mhm.
hard, but then it had me thinking, how cool would it be just to ask a student or just a friend, a good friend like
Yes.
you, say, pick a word for your book, and then you actually have a conversation about why they picked the word. But do you have a word that
I
might stick
mean,
out?
I think the one of the words that sticks out to me in this book is wonder.
Okay.
You know, after Stickler sees something that's an everyday thing, the things that he points out in the world are just everyday, maybe not noticed. Like at one
Yeah,
point, he's totally enamored with dandelions. You know, things that we might not
that's
identify as
cool.
beautiful, but he has
Yeah.
complete wonder about everything that he sees. So wonder might be the word that sticks out for me.
Mm, that's
But I
that's
kept thinking
awesome.
about as I read the book, like at first I thought about it just for little kids, but honestly, I think it could work for kids of all ages and adults. But you know, once reading the book, what a fun thing to take kids outside and to see what they could notice. What are things that Stickler would notice in your backyard, in your on your
Yes.
playground? You know, like just things that we overlook. You know, that we
Yep.
don't recognize the wonder in all the time. So
In
taking that minute
in
to do that.
a similar vein, and just because school just started here, this is probably why my brain is like heavy duty on school. It'd be cool to have Stickler and Kroll go to school, but then
Yes.
have them notice and wonder things that maybe hardly anyone wonders in a school, like things that we just
That's
take for
it.
granted or don't question, but they're like, what is that? And why do we have that?
That's right. So first of all, with Lane Smith, when you write Stickler and Crow go to school, Brad Gustafson and I just want you to, okay, we're going to need a
Right.
nod. Okay. But now I'm thinking about like art projects with sticks and everything where you kids made little sticklers with the little stick on eyes and sticks or however, and the crow,
Oh,
and then
yes.
putting them in the school in the places where you might not notice a thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's this little crack in the the wall where you imagine leads to a little under a fantasy world. We put a stickler there. We just put sticklers in spots that just are worthy of wonder.
You know what, another riff or iteration of that might be an art project where you tape some sticks down on a paper in a
Mhm.
pocket form so that students can then also tuck something behind the pockets because they like kids
Yeah.
like guessing, and then you can
Yes.
kind of see through the sticks but not quite, and then they get to pull out the thing that they wonder about or that they're proud of or whatever. So,
Yes.
I don't.
Or you could even like think I'm just riffing off your idea now is have sticks, I mean have kids tape little wonders to the sticks and you could
Mhm.
leave them everywhere,
Yeah.
or have them in the pocket and you could take one and almost like a fortune, but a positive affirmation. Like, I don't know. There's so many different ways it could go, but this book is so full of joy. It is just
Yes.
joy from page one to the very end. It's so lovely and funny and sweet. I hope a lot of kids read it, and I'm
Oh,
so excited to share it today.
thank you for sharing. It was a joy listening to you share about that book.
I love it.
And if people want to hear other books that Jen and I have talked about this past calendar year, we would invite you
Yes.
to go to bit.ly/read underscore this underscore now,
That's
right? Okay.
it.
Woo, I
That's it.
almost messed that up, Jen, but no, we delivered, we finished, and we're excited to
Frog.
reconnect next week with other must read now titles.
Oh, yay. The perfect ending, my friend. I'm so happy that we're back book talking. I'm so happy to be sharing with our 3.5 viewers. And until next week, happy reading, everybody.